What's going on, guys? Welcome back to After the Credits, the review show that no one asked for. Today we are talking about Call of Juarez, the Cartel. And this was one of the worst games I have ever played in my entire life. It is tremendously bad. Catastrophically so. And obviously, normally when I play a bad game, I would normally jump off of it. But I can't release an After the Credits video until those damn credits roll. So I pushed my way through and got this game done. So anyways, it's going to be an interesting video. We're going to be talking about an absolute shit pile mess. And should be a good time. But without further ado, let's just get into this.
On your knees, motherfucker.
Motherfucker. Okay, so in Call of Juarez, the Cartel, the story essentially starts off with a DEA agent named Patrick Stone getting killed in a car bombing. Now, Patrick Stone had expected this to happen, so he actually wrote a letter to his daughter, Jessica Stone, and stored it, I'm imagining, in a location in their house, and told her that if he ever dies, to go and read the letter. His daughter Jessica reads the letter, and in the letter it states that she is to seek out a man named Benjamin McCall, who works for the LAPD, because Patrick believes that Jessica Stone's life is also in danger due to this whole car bombing situation that he was involved in. So Jessica Stone goes to the LAPD, meets with Benjamin McCall, and tells him that she got a letter from her father saying that he was the man to go to. Now, initially, Ben McCall shrugs this off and basically tries to push her out the door, saying there's nothing he can do for her. But Jessica Stone mentions that in the letter, it stated that the supposed man behind the bombing, according to Patrick Stone's letter, was a man by the name of Alvarez. Now, this piece of information really perks up Ben McCall's interest in the case and decides to take on the task of protecting Jessica Stone. So after the conversation between Jessica Stone and Ben McCall, you are taken into a briefing room. And in this briefing room, there are two members in there, an FBI agent, a DEA agent. The FBI agent's name is Kim Evans. The DEA agent's name is Eddie Guerra. They are being briefed on what we know so far about the bombing, and basically being told that they're the group that is responsible to try to figure out what happened and to apprehend the suspects. And obviously the FBI and the DEA are higher branches of law enforcement, but it is explained to them that a member of the LAPD, Ben McCall, would be joining their interagency task force. At this point, both Kim Evans and Eddie Guerra are very concerned that why they're working with such a lower level law enforcement agency. However, it is shown in a slide that Ben McCall, Patrick Stone, and Alvarez, the bad guy of the game, the main villain, all served together in Vietnam. So that's the tie that brings McCall into this operation. So throughout the game, you're protecting Jessica Stone while also pushing on to apprehend the suspects, and that's the story progression. Now, the story sucks pretty much all the way through, to the point that I couldn't really keep heads or tails of it, or couldn't be really that interested. It is got a very, surprisingly, a pretty impactful ending. I would say there's 15 chapters in the game. I would say the last 3 or 4 chapters are pretty engaging, even though I was completely tuned out of the story for the first 12. Yeah, story not worth the arduous task of playing the game. That is for goddamn sure. Now, this game was designed to be a 3-person co-op, and it is essentially a shooting gallery game is the best way that I can describe it. It's a first-person shooter where you pretty much just kind of go into different areas. It's very linear. Once you hit a trigger, enemies spawn, you kill enemies, you progress. Very straightforward, just a very old school first-person shooter designed game, and I just call it a shooting gallery game because it reminds me of the arcade games, like the stand-up cabinets with the little blasters. I think those are shooting gallery games, and this game kind of feels like that, but at home, basically. So kind of like a watered-down, poopier version of that. So anyways, the game was designed to be 3-player co-op. That's why there are 3 players, and when you do play single player, you do have the option to control any of the 3 characters, those characters obviously being McCall, Evans, or Guerra. You can play either or any of those. But obviously the main character in this game, at least in my opinion, was Ben McCall. So that's who I played the game with. Each character has a different passive ability that they're able to utilize. I believe Ben McCall's passive ability is he's got a faster reloading time with revolvers. And what the other 2's specialties are, I don't know, didn't look, don't care, to be honest, but those are the main characters in the game. Now, if I edited this right, you should be seeing me fighting in kind of a town with a lot of little back alleys, basically fighting a bunch of gangsters, cartel members, whatever you want to call them. And I'm using this footage to show you, to demonstrate all of the problems with this game's gameplay, okay? So it's here for a reason. One of the first things that you will notice right away is that whenever you zoom in on a character, so whenever you aim, the depth of field, not the field of view, so not the side to side, but the depth of field consistently changes while you're playing the game, which is nauseating. So you can be looking at a guy and you'll see like the blurry end of your vision, and then as you transition to a different target, that blur will actually come closer to you and constantly adjust. Now, I don't know what the fuck this is for. It is incredibly jarring. It's something you notice throughout the entire game. I can only imagine it's to try to help performance of this game, because the performance is absolutely shite in this game for some reason. I mean, visually, this game is nothing to write home about. It looks like absolute shit, as you can see. It is not a good looking game, and I understand this game came out in 2011, okay? So not expecting modern graphics by any means, but even in 2011, I think this game would have looked like donkey shit. So it looks absolutely terrible. So why the performance is so bad, I will never know. But to break that down further, there's a lot of frame dropping, frame stuttering in this game. And when you're playing a first-person shooter where you're trying to be accurate and you're trying to aim at enemies to hit people, and when you're swinging your aim, it lags and drops frames and stutters. It is a challenge all in itself just to be able to hit people. So that is a problem. Very big problem, and it just continuously seems to get worse as you play the game. There's very few chapters that I went through without any stuttering. I don't even think there was one. And obviously, due to this being related to a lot of shit going on the screen, it's going to be most noticeable in large gunfights, which means the end of the game, those last chapters that are actually decent story-wise, have some of the worst performance in the entire game, especially the last gunfight. It is awful. It is unbelievably, catastrophically bad. And now I don't know whether or not this is a PlayStation 3 issue. I know that PlayStation 3 does not run games as well as the 360 did in that era. So it might be better on 360. I'm not sure. But on PS3, it is very, very, very hard to play with all of this inconsistency. So now with those major issues out of the way, while you're playing the game, with each kill that you get, you start to earn progress towards your concentration mode, is what it's called. I don't know how to do it, but with each kill, it fills it up a percentage. And when you get the bar full, you're able to go into concentration mode, which slows down the environment around you and allows you to be more accurate with your shots. And that's basically the special ability of the game. Makes you immune to damage and makes it easier to hit people. And that is it as far as unique combat design. Other than that, it's just a straightforward first-person shooter. So really not innovative in any way, shape, or form. and it shows. Now, in a game all about shooting, one of the most important things is the gun feel. Now, I understand that I am living in 2025, and I've got great examples of gun feel from a lot of really good first-person shooters that have come out recently. In my opinion, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, the rebooted Call of Duty series, essentially, has some of the best gun feel of any game I've ever played. The animations are really nice, the gun sounds are very cool and tactical and really well designed, and it just makes the whole thing feel very, very good. Call of Juarez has absolutely none of that. And to be honest, I played the majority of the game with a pistol because the pistol felt more impactful to me than the ARs did, or the shotguns did, or any of the main assault weapons in the game. It felt better to use pistols, so I pretty much always use pistols. This is definitely a feel thing, so it's hard to explain in a way that will make sense, but it just really feels like when you pull out the AK, for example, you're literally just shooting little bubbles. It feels like you're shooting bubbles out of it. The gun sounds are not satisfying, they sound muted and very lame, and there's no recoil, and it just doesn't feel good to use. Whereas the pistols actually have a nice recoil animation that seemed to be enough to make me want to play through the majority of the game with those. So very strange, but obviously when the gun feel in a first-person shooting gallery game is bad, you know you're in trouble. Okay, let's talk about the presentation since we've drilled on about the gameplay being atrocious. The presentation, well, I mentioned it earlier. Game looks like shit. There's not much to say other than that. Look at the pause menu of this game. Ooh, yeah, bad. Very bad. Does not look good. Clearly, and obviously we can't criticize the game for the pause menu, but there's just no effort. There's no effort there. It just looks ass. Looks terrible. Oh, and not to mention, the gamma slider built into the game to adjust the display doesn't work. I don't think it makes a difference. So when you increase the gamma all the way up, it looks the same as if it's all the way down at the end, and it basically tells you to adjust your TV if you don't see the stars on your screen, and I am not doing that. I'm not adjusting my TV settings for Call of Juarez the Cartel, so fuck that. But very bad in that sense as well. Just bad. And obviously the text looks cheap and lame. The font seems to have been a strange choice. Just all around very piss poor presentation. I don't know what there is to say about it. It's bad. It's very bad. Now, we already talked about the gun sounds being bad, but what's even more tragic is the voice acting. The voice acting in this game is absolutely abysmal.
Hey, handsome. I'm Candy. You wanna taste?
Hello, Candy. I'm actually looking for Tina. She's a Latina, late 20s.
Latina? Maybe it's time to try a different flavor.
Hey, you can't fight true love. You know how that goes, right?
Love, huh? Your true love is upstairs, bumping uglies for the price of a new pair of shoes.
Shit, I hope they're expensive shoes. She's upstairs.
Oh, kill me. So many times I was sitting playing this game, shaking my head, or even hiding my face at times due to the amount of cringe that was occurring on the screen. And it physically hurt. And, that's not great to experience. And it happened a lot. So that's great. Honestly, I think Ben McCall does an okay job for the most part. I think Kim Evans is voiced poorly. I think Eddie Guerra is voiced poorly. Word vomit. But all that is bad. And then not to mention, your teammates constantly yell at you when you're fighting. So there is this one dialogue option. Well, you know what? We'll go into a whole nother section for this. So whenever you enter concentration mode, your main character will make a remark, essentially. And Ben McCall is addicted to fucking swords. And I don't understand what the fucking addiction to swords is or what the tie-in is, but he constantly talks about swords. All the time. All the time. So that drives me nuts. And then there's also plenty of times where you're fighting and then you hear Eddie on the background saying, "Hey, save some for the rest of us. Hey, save some for the rest of us." I'm not going to wait for the AI to try to get a kill in this game. It is atrocious. I'm not doing it. And he says it 100 times over the course of an 8-hour playthrough. And it is so wearing on your mental health. It is an absolute nightmare. So, very bad. Unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. Very bad. So all in all, this game has almost no redeeming qualities. Story's pretty shit up until the last couple chapters. It is not worth playing the game to those last couple chapters to get the resolution of the plot. It stinks. It's not worth your time. The game is hard to look at. The game is hard to listen to. The game is hard to play. What does that leave it, honestly? Nothing. It leaves it absolutely nothing. This game is a piece of shit. Waste of time, waste of money. Do not buy this. Do not play this. Do not seek it out. I know Call of Juarez Gunslinger, which came out 2 years after the Cartel, is an very good shooting gallery game, I would say. Definitely above average. I think that game was actually a lot of fun. But going back to the Cartel was a fucking mistake that I regret playing, without question. So with that being said, this game is definitely going to be slotted in the lowest tier that I will have available. Or that I have available, which is labeled Cheeks. This is a Cheeks game, meaning do not, for any reason, under any circumstance, play this game or consider playing this game. It is not worth your time. I'm telling you this to save you the expense of having to put yourself through this torturous, absolute piece of garbage. So with that being said, thanks for watching. I love you all. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully the next video will be better, because I'm hoping to play a better video game, because this one stunk. So anyways, stick around for that. Thank you guys for all the support. Like and comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the Cartel, and let me know what other games you think I should review in the future. It's been a fun one. Thanks for all the support. Love you all. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you guys on a live stream or on the next episode of After the Credits. Take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you soon.